Okay. Alright. Yes, I shaved. Not by choice. I never shaved by choice. No, I was trimming, actually with the trimmer, which is too big. I bought it not thinking how big it was. It's really one of those shavers for people who shave their heads. It's that big. So I really need a smaller one. Because sometimes when I go to trim, tight, happens. Yes, happens. So that's what happened this time. And so I look like a old 12-year-old. At least that's how I see me. I look in the mirror and I don't look much different facially, this construct, than when I was a kid. Only now I got the bags and the high forelock. and this, I had a double chin when I was a kid because I was heavy, so that is still consistent. But it's really awful with the long hair. See, without the beard and the long hair and the way, it naturally goes back because there's nothing on top, I look like, or at least I was told, and I agreed, I look like Riff Raff from Rocky Horror Picture Show. So, there you go. Do I want to go through life looking like Riff Raff? No. So, the hair is going to get cut. Absolutely a must. Though I am growing the beard back, you can actually, if my hair wasn't, the beard rather, wasn't so, what do I look like? Whatever. If the beard wasn't so light and gray, you'd see it, because it's there. It's just, So the book is out. It's gangbuster sales. Yeah, people just all over the world are like hitting Amazon. I'm almost, denial of service errors on Amazon because of Paul Tate's new book. Not to be confused with the Paul Tate who writes about soccer, or rather I should say football. Yes, there are many Paul Tates out there, too many, with the same spelling as my T-A-I-T. It's really annoying because I thought it was a fairly unique spelling, and I guess in the scope of humanity, there are more T-A-T-E Tates than T-A-I-T Tates, but nonetheless, the Paul T-A-I-T guys, like me, are apparently journalists and painters and photographers and famous football players and famous people who write about football. I don't know if those are one and the same, if the author of the books on English and Argentina football are the same guy who plays for the English Football League. I have no idea. As a matter of fact, I think there are two Paul Tates. There's one that plays for Ireland and one that plays for England, which confuses things all the more. So that deeply sucks, to be blunt, because if you do a Google on just Paul Tate, you're not going to find me right away, or at all maybe on the first page. You have to narrow it to Paul Tate music, and probably soon Paul Tate poetry, or something like that, and then you'll hit me. You'll get all me, in fact. With Paul Tate music on Google or on Yahoo or whatever search engine you use, you get those three words, you get everything. You get the website, you get the iTunes, you get the this, you get the that. So, but the book is out. Go get it. It's only $2.99 for the brilliance, the witty wordplay that is me. Or as my tagline now for this particular book is, discover me before I'm dead. As most poets, yes, I find myself amusing. Most poets are not discovered until they're dead, or get very little attention while they're alive. I mean, there are a few big names, of course, like Robert Frost. But like Emily Dickinson, no one discovered her work until she had passed. Um, Edgar Allan Poe didn't become super famous until after he was dead. Shakespeare was just one of many during his time. He just happened to last for whatever reason. Wouldn't that be something if, like, Shakespeare wasn't the best playwright? I mean, he was obviously good, but he wasn't maybe the best, but he's the one that survived. For whatever reason, history chose William Shakespeare over Bartholomew Huzabatus. No, Bartholomew could have been awesome. He could have written 10 times the way Shakespeare wrote, but I don't know. Shakespeare survived. I mean, one other contemporary is Christopher Marlowe that we know of. I mean, his name has survived, but he's still nowhere near as famous as Shakespeare. So, but still, during his lifetime, Shakespeare was just one of many playwrights and poets. Oh, sonnet. He wrote sonnets, not poems. I don't even know the difference. See, I'm so uneducated. I never hunkered down and learned about poetry because I simply just didn't care. I just wrote what I wrote. Wrote as how I wrote, you know, and if people make a comparison to anybody, it's completely accidental. So I really don't. Other than I like Emily Dickinson, I like Walt Whitman, I like Robert Frost. Have I read everything they've ever done? No, I've read enough of those particular three. And of course, Jim Morrison, who, apart from the Doors music, he wrote several books of poetry. So, you know, I like Jim Morrison as the poet, as well as the singer. But, you know, apart from the singing and rock star stuff, he was quite a good poet. That's it, man, you know. I've never studied what a poem ought to be. I suppose in the same respects, I never truly studied music and what it's supposed to do. So, you know, it makes me unique. Or horrible. It depends on your perspective. I don't know. Well, they do say you do something long enough, eventually you get good at it. And I've been writing verse since I was 8 years old. You know, I didn't devote myself to it till I was like 12 or 13 and consistently wrote all the time. But, you know, you do something long enough, eventually you master it. Or you become a master of your way of doing it. You know, I mean, there's some things that you can't argue with. It's like, well, you can't really say it's because, and you can't really call it terrible because, you know, it's just like something that's almost unreviewable. I would think of my writing, but it's been reviewed. Stray Lines got 5 stars from Reader's Favorite, and they're going to be reviewing Markings in a Cave. And, you know, this is never going to be on the internet, I don't think, because I'm just doing it to see how I look, really, without the beard. But, of course, the camera adds 20, so I don't know how realistic. I hope I don't hate myself, you know. Wear a sack over my head when I go out. Have a good one.